Hi Scorpio, this is your February 2016 horoscope with me, Lada from astrolada.com, for anyone who have their ascendant, sun or moon in Scorpio. And this February video will be particularly interesting for you because, as I promised last month, I'm going to talk about Mars being in Scorpio for such a long time. It will go out of Scorpio for 2 or 3 months, but it will come back again. So altogether, I think around 4 months or 5 months it will be there, 4 months or something like that in Scorpio. And it's such a rare trigger. The last time this happened was probably the cycle of Mars is around 17 years, when Mars stays for such a long time in Scorpio. Otherwise, it just woozes through your sign once every 2.5 years for about 2 months. But now it will be moving backwards in and out of Scorpio 3 times. So it's gonna really bring to the attention of Scorpios this Mars energy. So it will be a life-transforming period starting from February for many Scorpios. And it's not only important to look at the retrograde period of Mars in your sign Scorpio, which happens around May, June, something like that. Yes, mostly happens in June, July, up to, for these 2 months. It's very intense. But the process starts already from February, when you're going to get like a whiff of and kind of the first indications how this transit, prolonged transit of Mars in your sign is going to manifest. And not all Scorpios will actually feel it so strongly and will have life-changing transformations. Usually more Scorpios that are born in the last 10 days of Scorpio will feel it. The last 10-15 days, basically, those who have your ascendant or moon from around 20 to 30 degrees in Scorpio, you can find that out from the planetary detail table at my birth chart calculator. If you happen to have moon or ascendant 20 to 30 degrees Scorpio, one of those degrees, or if you're basically, your sun is in those degrees, which means that you're born from around the 12th of November to around the 22nd of November, the third decan of Scorpio, so to speak. They will feel this Scorpio, this Mars in Scorpio so powerfully for the next few months. And it starts from February already. But all Scorpios, because Mars is triggering your sign, you would also feel reverberations there. And it's happening in your first house. So when Mars stays such a long time in your first house, it's all about learning self-assertion. All about learning and increasing your willpower. All about learning how to be proactive and go after goals you want, like a hunter. Because wherever Mars is for such a long period, we develop our willpower there. And many times people try to develop their willpower and they find it hard. They don't have the drive, the ambition, the desire. But now, Scorpio, you will. And the first house, whether it's your ascendant, sun, or moon, is associated with the physical body. So that will be an excellent time for you Scorpios to develop your muscles, to develop core strength in your body, to strengthen, to start some physical sports. People that are in athletics and they're Scorpio, they can have winning of games now. They can have a great preparatory period for the next 6-7 months that will lead them to winning games and strengthening their body and upping their competitiveness and their achievement. Scorpio now, Mars in Scorpio will make you like a warrior. You become a warrior for the next 5-6 months. And it's not always the easiest of things that we do, because what is a warrior? He trains, he's a body, you can become bodybuilder now if you want. If you've always wanted to develop muscle definition, now is the time for you. But Mars is like, teaches you self-discipline, just like a warrior, just like a soldier. So if you've never had the willpower to do now Mars will really, really help you in that direction. And you'd find yourself becoming more ambitious at the same time. And willing to speak up and your voice to be heard, willing to fight for what you believe, willing to go and do things you were scared of doing before if you didn't have the courage to start something new. Because first house is the house of new beginnings. Whether it's your sun, ascendant, or moon, you'd have the drive to go there like a soldier, to push through any obstacles, to break, to butt heads. And that's not the easiest of things. It takes a lot of courage. We feel threatened and intimidated. It can create conflict in our life, but the ultimate result can be amazing. People that have had Mars in their first house for a few months, they come back to me and they say, wow, like I didn't know that I had such strength to fight. I didn't know I had such strength to initiate new things. Like I've always wanted to start this business, or I always wanted to take initiative in regards to changing my body, or I always wanted to proceed with this personal goal, because first house is all things that you consider personal. But I never had the energy, the motivation, or ambition, or even the outer circumstances forcing me to develop that discipline and ambition before Mars entered into my first house for a few months. So this is what you're going to get from out of this, even if it starts with a frustration initially, even if it starts with tension in some way, or some little crisis situation that happens either to health, or your dissatisfaction and anger towards a certain situation escalating, and you're just bursting out, and finally finding the strength and motivation and willpower to steam through like a steam train. And this is what Mars will be giving you by the end of this process. By August, you will be a new transformed person. Because Mars is about innovations, and you can do innovations in your physical body, in new beginnings in your life overall, breaking through old fears. And Mars brings that breaking through old fears by facing your fears, by confronting the situation. Some of you might have to be fighting literally with someone, or maybe sometimes in extreme cases I see like someone fighting with others for what they believe, with partners sometimes, someone fighting for in some court case. Because Mars brings all those martial things, which is fighting a fight, standing on your ground and trying to like the last soldier standing, not turning your back on the battle. At moments you might have to slow down, but ultimately this position is very likely to give you the winning hand, because Mars empowers you to plow through. But also you might have some more critical moments when Mars is very intense, especially in the retrograde stages in June and July. And you have to be careful that you don't overstress your nervous system, you don't overstress your heart, because Mars can raise the blood pressure. So you'll be under more pressure for sure. And that might be self-given pressure, because you become more competitive right now, which can eventually lead you to winning something, to affirming something you've been fighting for, to initiating something you didn't have the energy to initiate. But again, it comes through a bit more stress for you, because always forcing ourselves extra is stressful. But you're naturally good at that, Scorpio, because Mars is the planet that rules Scorpio, is the natural ruler of Scorpio. And the best way of action for you to proceed is through scorpionic matters, because Mars is action. It's in your sign Scorpio. What is it? What is the scorpionic actions? Penetrating, investigating, invading gradually, and understanding your enemy, or whatever you're fighting, or whatever you want to tackle, or whatever problem you want to fix. Because Mars definitely transiting your ascendant will escalate problems that they have to be dealt with, especially since Mars also rules your 6th house, Aries, and Mars 6th house is any technical problems, breakdowns, health problems as well that you want to tackle with your personal willpower, which is the 1st house. You have the opportunity, or any kind of enmities that you had, you might want to tackle, because Mars brings that 6th house energy again. In the 1st house, you tackling with those 6th house problematic things, because 6th house rules, enmities, enemies, conflictual situations of something breaking down, situations of lack of balance, situations of improving your routines and services to be more efficient, to be more productive, or your health routines to be more efficient and productive. Mars brings all those things, and first they might escalate, so they push you into action, but by the end of the process you'd have established a routine, military routine, to deal with those most stressful situations in life. So now it can be such a productive time, such an empowering time, and your way to proceed is by, penetrating, by kind of, you know, shrewdness, almost stealth as well, because Scorpio is not this direct sign to go. Mars can make you much more combative, but you have to proceed in a Scorpionic way because that's your nature. And I don't have to tell you that, you know how to proceed that. So you become, if you're Scorpio already, but now when Mars, the planet that rules you, stays for such a long time in Scorpio, you become triple strong Scorpio. So your Scorpionic ability to get what you want, to execute plans, your Scorpionic abilities to investigate, research, and get to the bottom of things becomes even stronger. Your Scorpio, and you make it with your own willpower. Your Scorpionic abilities to also to heal can be very powerful now, because Scorpio is a healing sign, and Mars, through your personal proactive actions, you can achieve some breakthrough in healing, physical, psychological, emotional. Scorpio is strategic thinking and action. So you will have strategic, if you want to lose weight, if you want to have the perfect body, strategic plan to follow through, well researched. If you want to initiate a new project in life, if you want to start a new initiative, whatever it is, again, strategically, again, by planning step by step. And so Mars, it can be intense period. You need to have some physical outlet. Even if you don't work out, you either need to be very much focusing your energy on some project that you're working intensely on, or, you know, with career, whatever it is, physically, that you're putting in, mobilizing your resources energetically, physically, psychologically, or you need some kind of physical outlet. Otherwise, you might feel too much of the Mars energy. It can become too stressed. It can become too, sometimes self-destructive. So you might be more likely to attract accidents and minor injuries and things like that, or inflammations of the body, because Mars is an inflammatory planet, or kind of invasive things into your body. But you also have the fighting ability, because Mars rules the red blood cells. Mars, interestingly, rules the invading bodies, and also the bodies that your red blood cells and white blood cells that fight with those invading bodies. So you need to find a way to balance these things a little bit by letting off steam, some physical routine exercise. If you want to breeze through that transit, start working out 2-3 times a week, or go for walks daily in some way, or do some energy work that releases built up energy in some way, or kinesiology, the muscle tension, you know, and you're gonna just come out with lots of innovations in your life, with improved willpower. And nothing builds up the willpower of a person as physical exercise, you know. And this will also help you through a bit more stressful periods of Mars in the first house, when some problems you're faced with, you have to resolve some conflicts. It will help you approach them in a more mature way, not too much impulsive. Yeah, so that's the best strategy for working for you, Scorpios. It can be extremely beneficial for you, but it's stressful. Imagine just getting extra energy into you. What happens if you don't utilize it in something productive? It can burn you, you know. But many of you probably exactly needed this injection of energy, this injection of physical vitality to get done with difficult tasks, to finish or to start, initiate, and complete some important project. So important and great things you can achieve. Just be careful for the stressors and provokers there. And the competitiveness which comes. But winnings are very possible as well, through your shrewdness, through your very well thought out actions. And another thing that is now, let's just focus on February. That was the overall for 6 months ahead prediction, Scorpio. Hopefully that's useful for you. But now just look at February. What is happening there? Mercury and Venus are first in your 3rd house, so it's good for communication, good for contacts, connecting to others, getting in touch with others as well, completing some business projects, commercial projects as well, because Mercury is turned direct already in February, and it's completing its, you're completing maybe some commercial business project which would go well, any kind of complications in communication and negotiations should be resolved now to move forward. Travel, positive for travel as well in February. And then they move in the second part of February, Mercury and Venus, two very pleasant planets in your fourth house of family. So you can have some important, good communications with family about, your personal life. You can improve something in your home, arrange, manage better, beautify something in regards to your home. But slowly you will be starting also to feel this Mars starting to put pressure on you for changes. And Mars will be making also the fourth angle aspect to family. So over the next, after February, they can escalate. They can, if there are any problems with family, to escalate them and show them to you. And partners, because it's making the opposition, Mars, to your seventh house of partnerships. So there will be a lot of changes on different levels, gradually starting from February. But February is still a very peaceful month for many of you. But you're getting the energizing input from Mars. And Jupiter and Rahu are in your 11th house, Scorpio, very auspicious and they continue to be in your 11th house till August, the end of the summer. And the 11th house rules long-term goals and dreams and wishes. And when these two are together, we fulfill something in a big way. God helps us. The universe helps us. Mars is material manifestation. Jupiter is blessings from above, the right circumstances and opportunities. So in February, they continue to be very close in your 11th house of gains. So you can find inspiration, new abilities to attract gains. And also for titles and honors, which till August you can gain a new title and honor. February is very strong again. For increasing your social impact and influence on others, for increasing your social circle or creating a bigger circle of connections around you and expanding your circle of influence on others. So thank you very much, Scorpio. Subscribe to my channel and I'll see you next month.